Oh, okay, that was weird. Tried streaming a minute ago and it wouldn't connect, but now it's connected, so I'm live. Hooray! Welcome everyone to episode 421 of Scotch and Smoke Rings. I am your friendly neighborhood Oxhorn here as always, with my suspender set to maximum stun, and I'm sporting my Vault 101 hoodie today, doing something I swore I would never do. As long as I can remember, from the first moment I became aware of such things, I said, I will never wear a hoodie. Today I break that vow. Because I'm cold. It's a cold day in Seattle today, and I've got my door open, pardon me, and my window open and a fan sucking out all of the hot air of this room. Why? Because I want to torture myself? No, because I plan to set this on fire. And I don't want to smoke out my entire house. That would make my wife unhappy. So, trying to be a considerate husband here, and we'll be setting this on fire with great jubilation, even if the entire time our knees are shaking from the cold. Lockie says, hey Oxhorn, I was watching your Point Lookout series, then I seen you went live. Solid series. Why, thank you. Why no hoodies? Says Wesley. Well, come on. I'm not a... Look, there are certain people who can pull off the hoodie. I am not one of those people. I don't have the bone structure for a hoodie. I don't wear the glasses for the hoodie. I don't wear hoodie music, or I don't listen to hoodie music. I just, I'm not typically the kind of guy you'd find in a hoodie. Just like I'm not typically the kind of guy you'd find on a skateboard. Not that you have to wear a hoodie to ride a skateboard. I'm just illustrating the point that there are certain people who excel at certain things. There are certain people who excel at riding skateboards or wearing hoodies. I excel at neither of them. But today, I am treading new waters, broadening my horizons by wearing a hoodie. All right. Let's set this on fire. There we go. Gabe says, don't break your vow. All right, I have to come clean. When I said earlier that as a very young man, I vowed to never wear a hoodie, I was lying. I was not actually telling the truth. I was taking artistic liberties to make a humorous anecdote. Probably failed. Who knows? But I'm not breaking any real vows. Clayton says, I skateboard and I wear hoodies. See? The two sometimes go together. Smart Squirrel says, do you know the way, Oxhorn? Yes, I know the way. Only because I have a beautiful, charming, and 6 years younger wife who's into the memes with the kids. The day that thing became a trending meme, she texted me and she sent me a link to the video, and the text was all caps. OMG, this is hilarious. This is before it was live on Reddit and Twitter and all that. She manages to find these things before they become popular. She sent it to me. She's like, you've got to watch this and know the way. Or something. I don't even know. And so I think I got 2 minutes into it. And I was done. But I had to tell my wife that I had watched the whole thing. Because she took the time to send it to me. So I responded in all caps. OMG! That is the funniest thing I have ever seen. Lols. Rocksters, boxers. Oh my god. And she was very pleased that I was able to exult in her enjoyment of that particular meme. But because of that, I am familiar with D-Way. I had somebody comment on a recent video saying, I love how Oxhorn is that guy who's trying to be with the kids, hip with the kids. And I think I responded to that comment saying, that's only because I know D-Way to dab. I've never dabbed. I'm not going to dab. What I did just then, that's the closest I'll ever get to dabbing. That's not a full dab. That's like a quarter dab. And I'll never go full dab. And that's the key to life. You'll be tempted to go full dab when everyone around you goes full dab, but never go full dab, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay to go quarter dab when you're speaking in, like, mockery of it, but never go full dab. It's not worth it. Tal says, thank you, Oxhorn. It's 4 a.m. I was about to sleep, but I got the email that you're online. Now my rhythm of sleeping is lost. Well, that's okay. I understand that sleep is important, and I would never encourage you to deprive yourself of something necessary like sleep. But if you are to deprive yourself of something necessary like sleep, I can't think of a better way to do so. So welcome. Kuma with a nice tip says, hey, Oxhorn, I've been rewatching your character bios. Been wondering, any more on the way? Well, I just finished one on Ed E. And yes, there is another one on the way. True tip. So, hint, because you guys are watching the program, I'll tend to give hints about future stuff on the program. Big video. Really, Oxhorn, that reference is dated. Is dabbing dated now? The last I heard about dabbing is there was a senator's son that dabbed during his father's photo shoot, being sworn into office or something. The day his father is getting the highest honor of his career, they drag his son up there for a big family photo, and what does he do? He dabs. Part of me died. Anyway, is dabbing no longer a thing? Oh, all right. Well, never mind. What was that thing? Oh, yeah! My next character bio is going to be on Piper. That's the next one. I'm working on it. It's not going to come out tomorrow, but it might come out soon. With a nice tip from the Dark Seraph says, one more try. I looked it up, and your Minuteman shirt is legal because the name, slogan, and logo belong in the public domain. Thank you, the Dark Seraph. I know the name does. The logo, however, I haven't seen the logo before Fallout 4. It's a very specific logo. It's got a lightning bolt with 2 muskets crossing. And I don't believe that is the original logo of the original Minutemen. So I may be able to come out with a Minuteman shirt that mentions the Minuteman and has some sort of patriotic slogan, but I might not be able to use the logo. That's just that's the impression that I have. But I don't know. I'm thinking about expanding my shirt arsenal, for lack of a better word, in the near future. There's split decision on Piper. Some people love her, some people hate her. God, don't do Piper, says one. Please do Piper, says another. People have been hounding me for Piper for a very long time. Not quite as loudly as the people hounding me for Lonesome Road. But, yeah. I will do the Piper video, just like I will do Lonesome Road. So never fear. It's all coming, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of great stuff. Ricky says, hey, Oxhorn, have you ever done a backstory lore video for Dogmeat? And if not, can you? Well, I have been asked about that, and Dogmeat's hard. I understand why there's interest in Dogmeat, because there's no story about him. So, of course, naturally, people are curious. But because there's no story about him, it's very hard to make a video about Dogmeat. Now, I could go on to the whole full speculation thing and say, is Dogmeat the reincarnated son of the Dogmeat that we found in Fallout 3 and the Dogmeat that we found in Fallout 1? And I could play some creepy music and expound on fan theories, but it's just a fan theory. So, I don't know. I'll think about it. Kuma with a wonderful tip says, if it ever comes time, my friend, I would like to enjoy a nice drink with you. I prefer a nice whiskey. What's your go-to drink? By the way, Piper is awesome. Thank you very much. I also enjoy a good whiskey. My go-to drink is a different type of whiskey called Scotch. Today we are drinking some Glenmorangie, and I've only got a dab left in the bottle. So, but the reason I say is it's because Scotch is technically a whiskey. It's a whiskey made in Scotland. That's why it's called Scotch. Oh, that barely covers the glass. It doesn't. It doesn't cover the ice. And the bottle's empty, but we've got a little bit in there. A tiny libation, just enough to wet our whistle. Cheers. Adam gives me an interesting idea for a shirt. Thank you. I love your enthusiasm. I'm not going to do that. Probably outside the scope of this channel, but interesting idea. Gypsy Rose says, hello, Oxhorn, and good evening. I wanted to give you an Easter egg that you missed in the series that you did on the violin. When you were in the vault, there was a name on one of the terminals that was a reference to the band Police. Gordy Sumner is probably a reference to Gordon Sumner, which is Sting's birth name. I did miss that. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Very cool. I love all of the different Easter eggs that Bethesda will include, and Obsidian will include, in this case. No. That Bethesda included in this case, in their game. Venta says, hey, Oxhorn, I have not followed your channel for very long, but you are quickly becoming one of my favorite channels to watch. You bring passion and knowledge that makes it enjoyable. Well, thank you. I really enjoy the Fallout series. I enjoy all of the lore. I enjoy everything about the games. So I get to sit down every single day and produce content for my channel about something that I love. And I'm glad that that comes out in the videos. So thank you. Troy with a tip says, drink rum. The favorite gentleman of 14. I do enjoy a good spiced rum. I think my favorite spiced rum is going to be the Kraken. Comes in a great bottle. It's nice and strong. But it's missing that peaty, smoky, campfire-y taste that I really enjoy with a good Scotch. So as much as I love... I also find rum is sweet, especially if you get a nice spiced rum. It kind of feels... The aftertaste is really sweet, which is fine, but sometimes I'm not really in the mood for something sweet to go along with a good cigar. Whereas a good peaty flavor to a Scotch goes great with a cigar. So, maybe sometime later. When my brother comes onto the program, he does love rum. As many of you who have been watching for a long time will remember. Many fun moments on the program with my brother co-hosting. For your Miniman shirt, use the original logo, which is one musket, crossed with one lightning bolt, with 3 surrounding stars, which proudly hangs on my wall, says the Dark Seraph. I may. That's a great idea. Maybe I will delve deep into American lore and pull out some of the original logos. Zombine says, when you play Metro, make sure you bypass the boobies today, or are you past that? I am thankfully past that. We came upon that in last week's broadcast, episode 421. I thought I could skip it. Like, you go into the little city and you see this big brothel, the neon signs, the silhouettes of the dancing ladies, and I'm like, oh, great! I can clearly see the brothel. I'll just walk right by it. And then folks on the chat said, no, you have to go in. That's part of the quest. That's part of the plot. And I'm like, here I am trying to avoid it. So instead, I just had to turn off the game from my stream and go through that portion. But we got through it. We're out on the other end, so no more boobies to worry about. We're safe. That's the problem with wearing black and smoking a cigar. You get ash everywhere. Apple Shrapnel says that brothel scene is the breast. Indeed. You should do all of the locations in Nuka World. Great idea, and I'm working on it. I've done a lot of them. I've even done the Shovel Museum, which was a whole lot of fun. But yeah, so if I could do it all over again, which I can't, but if I could, I would go through Far Harbor in Nuka World in the same way that I'm tackling the Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas DLCs. starting at the very beginning, going through the primary plots, and getting all of the different locations as I tackle the storyline. I think those are really engaging and those are a lot of fun. Instead, what I've done with with Far Harbor and with Nuka World is I'm kind of scattershot. I'm all over the place. I'll do a story on a big plot development or on a major character, kind of like how I tackled the major games, Fallout 4, Fallout 3, and Fallout New Vegas. The DLCs, I didn't cover the DLCs like I do now, back when I was starting. That said, that means that there's a whole lot of the plot that I haven't done yet for those games, for those DLCs. So at the moment, my plan is to finish up the DLCs for 3 in New Vegas, then tackle the DLCs for 4, and create series much in the way that I'm doing now, but only doing the major plot, since I've already covered many of the side locations. Hey Ox, watched you a bunch in your WoW Machinima days. Good to see you still on YouTube, putting yourself out there. By the way, you look exactly like I imagined you to. Great. People say that a lot. Whenever I hear that, I just choose to thank them. Oh, I do? I look exactly like you thought? Or, oh, I don't look the way you expected? Oh, well, thank you. Either way, thank you so much. Cheers. Love the compliment. Jacob says you have one more to do and it's a cutscene with the girl sniper. What? What? Oh, great. And I'll have no idea when that's coming up, will I? Well, hopefully it won't come up today. If it does, I'll just Alt-Tab out of it. Taz Davis says, Hi Oxhorn. Do you plan to revisit more of your settlements now that you've learned more about the settlement system? I have planned to do that. I just can't seem to find the time. I've done every single settlement in the game, and in the course of learning the settlement system for Fallout 4, I learned a lot about it. I published a lot of original videos about the settlement system where I was trading new ground and people hadn't done that math yet. So I've done a lot with the settlement system in Fallout 4. I'm very comfortable with it. And what I want to do now is I'd love to do a non-modded or limited modded series on settlements. Like, here's a settlement you can build without mods or only using minor mods. That said, when it comes to building a settlement, it requires an enormous amount of my time. Far more than I have these days. Remember, I started my channel as a settlement channel for Fallout 4. I didn't tackle lore until the middle of 2016. For the first half of 2016, I just did settlement stuff. Then people started demanding lore videos, so I started producing lore, and now I'm doing a lot of lore, which I'm really relishing, by the way. I love the opportunity. But the lore videos take up so much of my time that I can't sit down and spend 8 hours or however long building a beautiful settlement and then shooting a quick video about it like I used to do. So one day, maybe when things slow down a little bit as we wait for Fallout 5, if Fallout 5 ever comes, I may revisit my settlements, but for the time being, probably going to be leaving that alone for now. Hey, Oxhorn, as a kid, what was your favorite thing to do? Well, I've always been a geek. So my two most favorite things to do was, one, I collected turtles. I was really into herpetology. I collected all the books. I read everything about how to keep turtles and keep them healthy, and I had a number of turtles. And then I really enjoyed building models. I had model spaceships, model cars, model figurines. I even participated in a number of model contests. Yeah, that's what I did in my youth. I enjoyed that a lot. Then I discovered Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, and I spent many years just reading, because that's what I did for my late teens. It's just reading a lot of Tolkien and Lewis. And G.K. Chesterton. Kuma, with an interesting question and a nice tip, says, how do you feel about the main character being someone who was never in a vault or such in the next game, like the Courier in Fallout New Vegas? I am ambivalent. I really enjoy the Courier as a playable character in Fallout New Vegas, but I also really enjoy the idea of every Fallout having its roots in some sort of vault. It was established with the interplay of Fallouts, Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, New Vegas broke the mold for the first time, and then Bethesda followed up with Fallout 4, where, of course, we're starting in a vault. But not really. I mean, the sole survivor spent how long in the vault? Well, hundreds of years. But in his or her mind, in terms of her experience in the vault, she was there, or he was there for, what, an hour? She walks in, gets frozen, and walks out. So she didn't really have a vault experience, even though she did come from a vault. So it's that one's kind of straddling the line. Yeah, she's a vault dweller. She's not really a vault dweller. She never had the vault dweller experience. Very different from Vault 13 in Fallout 1 and 2 and 101 in Fallout 3. Yeah, but that said, I'm ambivalent. If the next Fallout has a really great story arc with a character like a courier who never even touched a vault before the game begins, then I'm totally cool with that. Either way. Emma says, I want Fallout 5 to be almost entirely in a vault. I would love to explore an awesome vault in Fallout 5, but I would not want to spend all my time in a vault, I have to say. Half the fun of Fallout, in my opinion, is exploring a wasteland. So, just my opinion. Make a video on the Crater of Adam. It's on my list. It's high up on my list. I'm trying to decide whether or not I should jump into the Children of Adam and do a big series on them. Pardon me. Or if I should wait until I start Far Harbor. A series on Far Harbor before I tackle the Children of Adam. Of course, because they have such a prominent presence on Far Harbor, on the island with Far Harbor on it. Jack with a tip says, hey, Oxhorn, glad to be here. Oh, and by the way, please say, all right, here you go. Share this with your friends. Roll Tide, Alabama, 2018 College Football National Championships. Go Roll Tide, Alabama. There you go. I hope you and your team are happy. Flies off the screen. So many people. Where did it go? Eliatomic says, hey, Oxhorn, you forgot to mention in Old World Blues that the courier's brain can sometimes hum Begin Again from Dead Money. You're right. I noticed that in the game. I didn't really think it was worth mentioning. We had spent so much time. Yeah, I really should have included it. We had spent so much time at the Sierra Madre, learning about the story there and learning about Veracruz. And there was even, I did a small music video in one of the final episodes of the Dead Money series where we listened to the entire song, Begin Again by Veracruz. I really enjoyed putting that little music video together with the song. But yeah, I kind of felt like we had done that a lot, so I didn't do it again in Old World Blues. But yeah, it is interesting that the courier's brain, who has already gone through the Sierra Madre, is humming the tune sung by Veracruz over 200 years ago. Our Adras says, hey, Oxhorn, do you like any bourbons? I like Scotch as well, but really enjoy a bourbon. What's your preferred cigar? I do enjoy bourbon. I married a beautiful woman from Kentucky, so of course, I've got to enjoy my Kentucky bourbon. In terms of cigars, I don't really have a favorite. The brand I smoke right now is La Aurora, simply because they're an affordable brand. I can get an entire case for $60 or so. So it comes out to, I don't remember, $1 or so per cigar. No, it's not that. It's almost $2 per cigar, which is a decent price for the kind of hand-rolled cigars we have. Gypsy Rose Sharp says, when doing your settlements, did you spend more time doing those than spending time doing quests? So the reason that it would take me so much time to start my settlement series again is because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but when I sit down to do my settlements, I create something, then I tear it down. I create it again, then tear it down, then create it again, and go and do some research to see if I can figure out a bug that I need to fix or find a new mod that can help me get something to look exactly the way I want it. It takes a lot of time for me to get exactly what I want. And that's time I don't have to spend when doing a quest, because what I'm doing is I'm retelling a story. I'm narrating a story that's already there, so I just have to learn the story, learn everything about it, do a bit of research on it, which does take some time, and then write a short script, sometimes just in my head, and then retell it. Doesn't take quite as long as all the fiddling about with my settlements. What is your favorite DLC? Well, I haven't done them all yet, so I can't say definitively, but of the ones that I have played, I really enjoyed Far Harbor. And after having played Point Lookout, I see that Far Harbor is a bit derivative of Point Lookout, which may explain why I've really enjoyed Point Lookout as much as I have. Even the plot of Far Harbor has a few moments where it touches some of the plot elements of Point Lookout. I don't know if anyone noticed that when they were going through my Point Lookout series. But yeah, there are a few similarities there. There are enough differences between the two stories that I definitely see Far Harbor as its own complete story, its own unique land. And I think Bethesda put a lot more time and attention into the island of Far Harbor. There's just so much more there than what we find in Point Lookout, as fascinating as Point Lookout is. But yeah, I'd say Far Harbor is going to be my favorite DLC so far. Who knows, that may change after we take the Lonesome Road. Gypsy says, who was your go-to companion in New Vegas? Mine was Ed E. It's really interesting. There are so many viewers who are watching my videos as part of a nostalgia thing because they completed Fallout New Vegas years ago. After all, it was released in 2010. For me, I don't speak past tense because I'm doing it all for the first time now. Well, the second time. I beat the plot to Fallout New Vegas back in 2015, and I'm going through it all again right now. But there was so much I missed the first time I went through that it all feels fresh and new to me. That said, I definitely roll with Eddie. I enjoy Rex as a companion, but pathing is tricky. He gets in my way a lot because he's on the ground. Ed E, I feel, is easier to push around. I don't know. He's easier to deal with, in my opinion, than Rex. And then of all of the other companions, I really enjoy... Well, I enjoy them all. But I've got Cass as one of my primary companions. She's got a great character. And she's so sarcastic. Zanny Band says if Nuka World was more like Far Harbor, then I would love Nuka World so much more. I was disappointed by it. I have to admit that I was a little disappointed by it after having experienced Far Harbor. The bar was set so high that when I got to Nuka World, I did have a twinge of disappointment. That said, the twinge did not last long. There was still so much to do in Nuka World. It was definitely worth the money, and I had a blast doing it. But when all was said and done, if I'm comparing the two DLCs, Far Harbor is my preferred one of the two. That said, I wouldn't throw Nuka World back. I'm glad it's there. It has a lot of really interesting lore, especially lore about John Caleb Bradburton. He's such an interesting character. I should really do more about John Caleb Bradburton. Although I think I might... Yeah, I did a big series on Project Cobalt. But I didn't do the quest about Sierra Petrovita, did I? I don't think I did. It's getting to the point. I've done so many videos now that I don't remember which one I did or not. Kid Creative says, do you like Android or Apple? Well, my wife is an Android person and I'm an Apple person. I've never had an Android phone. I've always had an Apple phone, and it's just it's an ecosystem I'm familiar with, so I don't see a point in changing it. Although the news recently that they purposefully slow down older phones miffed me a bit. It made me upset. Son of a Batman says, have you pretty much 100% in Fallout 4? You mean, have I done everything 100% in Fallout 4? Pretty much. I've played every single faction, sided with every single faction, done every ending. I've pretty much done everything in Fallout 4. But that is not true of the other Fallouts. I'm still experiencing stuff for the first time in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. It flew off the screen, but someone said something about who is Cypress in Gunner lore. I want to know. I also want to know. I touched on that briefly. Actually, I touched on that at length in my video about gunners. That was one of the major questions I had. What was the gunner structure like? Cyprus was mentioned, but we never find him. Another cool thing about Nuka World is it brought on Cyprus. We didn't know anything about him before Nuka World. But yeah, watch my video on the gunners to learn more. And with the Nuka World, you get to find out who is actually behind most of the disappearances in Diamond City. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Groove. Please elaborate, because... I mean, spoilers, but the Institute is behind most of the disappearances in Diamond City. Gypsy Rose says, do you wish they had an iBot like Eddie in Fallout 4? A little bit. They do have iBots in Fallout 4 that are wandering the wastes. For example, there's that one iBot we find in a random encounter that's promoting the Cambridge Polymer Labs. That's a pre-war iBot that has miraculously survived for 200 years and no one had shot him, like they shot Eddie. And then the iBots that we get with Automatron, those are really all of the ones we have. The cool thing about Automatron is we can make really powerful iBot companions. So if you want to make Eddie, you can recreate him as best as you can using the Automatron DLC. Jacob said, have you heard the new YouTube rules? That you have to have 1,000 subscribers or 400 hours watched on a video before they can be monetized. I have heard those rules, and they're a little disappointing. Thankfully, it doesn't affect this channel. This channel is going to be doing just fine. Sorry, hold on 1 second. There we go. This channel is going to be doing just fine. But I can't imagine that if I were starting this channel from scratch now, it would be so much harder. One of the reasons I was able to grow it to be as large as it is because I was able to generate income at a pretty low level. Like, I believe this channel started with around 6,000 subscribers that it had accrued since I made it in 2011. I made this channel in 2011, and I only published episodes of this program for many, many years. And over that time, just publishing episodes of Scotch and Smoke Rings, I accrued about 6,000 subscribers. When I started doing my Fallout videos back in April of 2016, is when the channel really started to take off. Thankfully, I was at the point where I was able to monetize videos at that time, which made this entire thing possible. So the new YouTube rules are a little heartbreaking for new YouTubers, people just starting out, and that's really frustrating. But I also, I kind of understand why they did it. You know, they really want to combat low-quality channels that are ripping off content or are not putting a lot of effort into their content. And yet at the same time, people need to be able to generate an income even when they're just starting out in order for it to become viable. So it's a tricky thing for YouTube to be doing. Hey Oxhorn, what kind of music are you listening to? I really do enjoy it. This is called Dixieland music, and it's a family band. This is a band put together by my grandfather. He and my aunts and uncles and a bunch of their friends sat down and made a little band, and they toured around their home state with for many years, and they put together this CD and sent it to me. I love it. I love all the music. The only way to make an iBot with the robot workbench is with mods, so console users are screwed. Is that true? It's been a while since I've made a robot with automatron, but I thought you could... No, I'm thinking... Oh, you're right. I was thinking of a Mr. Handy. I knew there was one floating robot you could do. But it's a Mr. Handy, not an iBot. You're right. My bad. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah. No iBot in Fallout 4. I guess I am a little disappointed. I really enjoyed Eddie. Sage says, will you ever do more Fallout 1 lore videos? I really enjoyed the ones you did. Yeah, I will. So I found it to be a little bit overwhelming. I'm really focused on Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. I'm churning out content. I do 6 videos a week, 2 from each game. I tried to work Fallout 1 in there for a while. I believe I did 2 or 3 videos with Fallout 1 content. But trying to juggle 4 games is hard. It's a lot of games to make content about. Especially since I tend to get really focused and delve deep into the lore. So my thinking right now is I want to get most of the content done for these 3 games that I can. Then I'll retire one of them, probably Fallout 4, since I've gotten more content done for that game than the other 2. So that's probably the one I'll retire first, and then switch to Fallout 1 or Fallout 2 or Fallout Tactics and start producing content on it. Anyway, we'll see. This is all up in the air. So, sneak peek for tomorrow's video. Tomorrow's video is going to be a fun one. Tomorrow's video is on the Bethesda ruins in Fallout 3. Did you know? I'm sure many of you who have played Fallout 3 have known this, but did you know that Bethesda's name came from a town in Maryland where they first started out, called Bethesda. That's where their first headquarters were before they moved to Rockland. I believe they moved to Rockland. Anyway, they decided to include the town of Bethesda in their game, and of course its ruins, so we can explore the ruins of Bethesda, which is fun. So that's what I did today. I already finished that video. I'm going to be uploading it after this program finishes, and we'll be able to explore that tomorrow. Rockville. Yes. Thank you, Crumpy Old Gamer. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to do a lot of fun. A lot of cool loot. Not a lot of story. It's one of those things where I'm publishing it as Fallout 3 lore, but there's really not a lot of story to be had in the Bethesda ruins. No terminals, nothing. But it's still an interesting place to explore, so I guess we'll see how people like it. Alex says, don't leave Fallout 4. Oh, I have no plans to leave Fallout 4 anytime soon. We've got so much to do. I still have Nuka World and Far Harbor to do. I still have Piper and my entire series on Diamond City to do. I still have the Children of Adam to do. Lots and lots to do. So never fear. Fallout 4 is here to stay for a while, at least. I am, after all, only human. Is it a shocking story, says Estevan Puig? The Bethesda ruins is not shocking, it's weird. The weirdest thing about the Bethesda ruins is this strange trap we find in one of the office buildings that is perplexing. And I tried to put my head in the mind of a raider who put this trap together and think, what exactly were they trying to trap with this trap? You'll see in tomorrow's video, so I don't want to spoil it. You'll see in tomorrow's video. Kuma says, thanks for the awesome work you do in your vids. I like showing us the other outcomes of all of the choices. I tend to choose the good outcomes. P.S. You kind of struck me as a jazz listener. Well, thank you. I honestly tend not to listen to jazz, especially not smooth jazz. It's not my kind of thing. This kind of jazz, if you can call it jazz, is nice because it's Dixieland. It's really upbeat. I love the tempo of it. I like this kind. But the smooth jazz, like going into a jazz club, like Anchorman jazz, Yaz flute? Nah. Not my thing, not my cup of tea. Is the town of Bethesda really glitchy? That would make sense, wouldn't it? There's one weird glitch. I don't know if it was a feature. Well, yeah, there are 2 kind of bugs or features that I'll be covering in the video. One related to a weapon and one related to ghouls in a metro. Anyway, I got to stop talking about the video I'm publishing tomorrow, or else none of you will watch it, because I'll talk about it today. So no more questions about the video tomorrow, okay? Ox, do you ever think you'll do a Fallout walkthrough? Yeah. You mean Fallout 1? Yeah. Yeah, that's on my agenda. I've got, again, it's one of those things where I'm running out of time. It's hard for me to juggle three games, let alone 4, but I do have plans to do a Fallout 1 walkthrough. Gosh, I need to clone myself and just put my clone to work to get as much content out as possible. All right, I'll get there. Oxhorn, what is your favorite Fallout villain? Great question. I know many are going to want to say Caesar. I don't think Caesar is the best villain. I enjoy Caesar. He's interesting, but he's so one-dimensional. Now, the cool multi-dimensional thing about Caesar is where he came from. The man he was with the followers of the apocalypse and the Mormons before he founded Caesar's Legion. That's all really interesting. But when we meet him in the game, Caesar as Caesar, he's one-dimensional. He's a tyrant. We have known men like him throughout human history. So we know what to expect. I would say that the most interesting villain is Father from Fallout 4. And it's not just because of his relationship to the sole survivor, but because he's not honest. He's not an honest man. Caesar's honest. He doesn't split hairs with you. He tells you exactly what's going to happen. You insult me again, I'm going to kill you. You know what to expect with Caesar. With Father, he's a liar. And this doesn't come up in the game. It's all subtext. And I could be making it up. Maybe I'm just assuming it. But, I mean, think about it. And I don't want to spoil anything for those of you who haven't finished Fallout 4. If you haven't finished Fallout 4, spoiler alert, okay? Because I want to talk about it, and it's going to be a spoiler, so spoiler alert. But look, you meet Father. He sits and he starts giving you his spiel about the Institute. It's important. And he goes on and on and on. And then he starts to talk about synths, and he's like, human-like synths. An important distinction. And he talks about how stupid the railroad is. Would you think that a Nuka-Cola machine is a human? He does that whole thing. And then he dies. And what are his last words to you? I made this child synth, and I want you two to become a family. How can you do that if you think that it's a Nuka-Cola machine? If you think every single synth is no better than a robot, what are you doing making a synth clone of yourself as a child and then giving that child to your parent whom you've never known so that they can live out a father or mother and child relationship that you never had? I think Father he's a very conflicted individual because he was so sheltered being raised by the Institute. All he has known is the Institute. Completely swallowed every propaganda pill they have ever given him. Never stepped outside of the Institute except for once to see the wasteland as it was just before you go to mass fusion. That's the first time he's above ground, right? So this guy is just so secluded and narrow-minded, and yet he's battling with all of these emotions that he's developing as an older man, thinking back on his life and all of the things that he's regretted, all of the things he's missed out on being raised by the Institute, one of which is having a father and a mother. And all of those things that you miss from that family dynamic. And so even though he knows these things as an Institute scientist and now the Institute director, he knows all of these things about the propaganda. And yes, it is just a machine. And he's adamant about that. We're not going to call it the android program anymore. We will call it the synthetic humanoid program. Yet at the end of his life, what is he doing? He's experimenting with his own family tree. He's experimenting with synths to try and recreate his past. I'm not saying... I think that he's a villain, and I disagree with what the Institute has done, but he's a complex individual, and I have a lot of sympathy for him, and he's so fascinating to me. So I'm going to say Father, even though Caesar's interesting, but I still think Father. All right, for those who muted me, spoilers are done. Even though I know you couldn't hear that, but oh well. Bogish says, will the child ever grow up? No. That's the really twisted thing about it. I recorded this in one of my videos on the topic, but if you walk around the Institute, you can overhear a private conversation between two scientists talking exactly about that. Talking about how the child can never grow. For the rest of his life, which, as far as we know, is infinite, he will be a child. And that's the child father wants you to raise. Man, it's just really, really messed up if you think about it. I mean, part of me can sympathize with the Brotherhood of Steel. If you end the game with the Brotherhood of Steel, and as you're leaving, you have the option to take Sean with you, and you say no, Proctor Ingram is horrified, and then you tell her that he's a synth. And then she's even more horrified that the Institute would do that, would make a child synth who cannot grow up. It's really messed up. Terrarian Pony says, hey Oxhorn, are you ever going to make a video on why bottle caps are wasteland currency and why they can be found in questionable areas? No, I don't. Who knows? I'm not going to say no. I may. But the thing is, it's one of those things where when you're dealing with Fallout lore, there are certain aspects of the game design that you have to overlook simply for the game to exist. And this is something that the developers of Overwatch, Blizzard, talked about. Like, when you're sitting and playing Overwatch, your character is dying and then respawning, and dying and respawning. That's the gameplay. Now, if you were to be a purist and try to merge that gameplay in with the lore of the Overwatch game, it wouldn't make any sense, right? Because these characters have these well-built lores and they've got their own backstories. But you can't sit there and say, well, in the game, my character dies and is resurrected over and over again. That's got to be part of the lore. No, that's the gameplay part of it, and they make that clear separation. And the same is going to be true for a Fallout game. There are going to be some parts of the gameplay that might not fit into the lore that we can't explain by lore, but they're necessary for the game to exist. And one of those things, I think, is being able to find a usable currency while exploring ancient ruins. Otherwise, the only way to get currency in the game is going to be to barter. Now, that could be interesting in and of itself. Maybe in Fallout 5, they'll remove bottle caps from pre-war places, or from pre-war safes. Like, that's one of the big issues. You unlock a pre-war safe that has not been unlocked in over 200 years, and what do you find? A stash of bottle caps. Why? It wasn't valuable at that time. Why would they put them in bottle caps? And, of course, the answer is game design. It's necessary for the game to move forward. Now, maybe there will be a Fallout game in the future where bottle caps are not found in pre-war safes or hardly anywhere in the ruins that you explore, and instead you get bottle caps by exchanging pre-war money for bottle caps or by doing something else. And that would make a lot of sense, but looting is such a big part of the Fallout games that I think that's just a necessity. And the same thing goes for finding Jet in pre-war containers. Sure, there are a lot of people who are going to get all upset. Oh, Jet was made by Myrnon in Fallout 2. Okay, sure. But Jet is necessary for the game to function. There are so many perks that deal with chems. You can craft chems, you can alter chems. It's a part of the game. I'm happy to overlook certain things like that are part of necessary game mechanics to allow the game to propel forward with the story. Right? Right. Jonathan says, what was it like when you saw the X01 Quantum Power Armor? Okay, that bothered me. I have to admit, that did bother me. In fact, it bothered me so much I did a video on it. So if you're curious, you can check out my video on that. All right, I need to start with the Metro gameplay, otherwise we'll never get to it. So, no more questions. I'll be casually looking at the chat, but because I'm going to be playing the game, I will not be able to observe the chat quite as dutifully as I have been. So we're going to pop open Metro. The screen's going to go dark for a bit, and we'll dive right in. I love that opening sound. The feel of the Metro series is just amazing. They nailed it. There are not many games that can nail a post-apocalyptic feel. Metro nails it. Fallout nails it. Metro nails it. Okay. So let's turn this off, turn that on, and turn that on. There you can see me. And you can see Metro. Okay, let's continue where we left off. So I think we left off after getting into the church. All right, here we go.
I made quite a lot of noise pushing through the marshes. If there really are people in the church...
We saw that yesterday, the last time.
Is it always like this, on the surface? First time I saw a beast like that one. Now we're gonna get you over.
That's right. That's the mistake I made last week, is I didn't wait for them to push the log on over.
I'm coming.
Great to see you. Get inside. It's safe in there.
All right, let's
Come on
do
in.
it.
Come on, get inside. Don't waste your filters.
I had you sighted when you were way out there. Almost shot you, too. That would teach you to answer radio hails. But I felt it was you. I hope you'll forgive me for the gardens.
Yeah, she kind of ditched us, didn't she?
For some reason, I was genuinely glad to see Anna, my pain-in-the-ass partner. She finally stopped those wicked jokes of hers. Looks like she's ashamed of having left her partner at the battlefield.
Yeah, I'm still miffed about that. Maybe we'll get an explanation.
I didn't take you seriously before. But Hunter, he read you right from the start. He put his trust in you. It took me time. I didn't understand until I saw you in action, and I almost got you killed. You don't make this easy for me, Artyom. I'll stop for now. Go on and get ready. The guys are coming soon and we're all going to Oktyabrskaya.
I didn't know that was my role in life, making things easy for you. All right, lady. I'll be sure not to step on your emotions. All right, let's loot up. Locked. Oh, no. Whoa. Some sensual jazz. A bit too sensual for me right now, thanks.
By the way, a traveling gun merchant stopped here for the night, so you could take a look at his merchandise.
Oh, that's
That's a
convenient.
great idea, girlie. Help an old man survive these troubled times. Buy some
So,
guns.
what's going on?
Stalker team is on the move. Should be here within the hour.
Great.
Okay, let's see. What do we got? Ammunition. I'm completely out of some of this stuff.
What's so in the air? How's
what if
the
I got?
Look, man,
international
these rounds are
situation?
great against large
It's
mutants.
incredible.
Nah,
For
man, you
10
can't
years,
carry that much.
nothing but stats.
These are select stock,
Then last
perfectly
month,
clean and
I got
round.
St. Petersburg, and they know of us. Somebody flew over there with a plane.
So I don't have
They
any.
flew
I don't have any
across their
guns
These
that
are
deal with
handmade,
that.
but are still
Ah,
good
that's
enough.
old news. What do you hear from
Bye,
New York
man.
and London, huh?
I don't know about London, but there's this city up north, Porania Zori. There's a nuclear power plant.
Kalash
Some people
2012
survived there.
RP.
I talked to them. Barbarians were laying siege on them, but they still held the fort.
You're a great liar, Sanya. You could write plays
I'll just
about
get ammunition that I
miserable life.
need now.
Detect them in the Bolshoi.
Let's sell that.
Buy these, man. Mutants won't be selling any ammo. You can be sure these will fire. Best ones around. A great caliber to use against mutants.
I'm really
These
miffed
shells are top class. Made them myself.
that they
I'm staying till tomorrow.
they
so if you need
restrict the
anything,
amount of
come right to
ammunition that
me.
we can carry. All right. So I've got my guns, I've got my
Have
ammo.
you ever been to the catacombs?
Only once. Really old church catacombs. No idea how old they could be. They even survived the nuclear bombs. Some people from the church hid here during the war, but they just disappeared. Could have gone to the main metro tunnels or... Well, people say things, you know?
You mean the Big Mama?
Big Mama?
Who might that be?
Well, our guys are fast.
Check it out, just in case.
Someone's knocking on the door.
Roadblock!
That's an old one.
I know that voice. Shit, I can't place it. Wait a minute. Could it be Lesnitsky?
Whoa! Boom! Oh no! The door hit me in the face. At least I got my ammunition. Is this the Soviet guy?
You damn traitor.
Anna, what a surprise. I'm no traitor. I never served you in the first place. We'll take this one back.
No!
That's it. Move!
So I'm hiding underneath this shard of a door? Is that why I didn't get taken? Well, that's some pure luck. Right now I gotta go save the girl. Alright. Oh, oh. You alright? I see your mouth moving. You okay? And I'm standing on fire. Ooh, that's blown up. So they had to go this way. Okay. I hate night vision for just that reason. When things are well lit, it becomes impossible to see. I suppose that's why we turn off the lights, right? Okay. But you can't turn off fire.
Those were the Reds. The traitor had our uniforms. They took Anna, went down in the basement. There's an entrance to the catacombs leading to Aktai Praskaya. They're going there. That place. Anna.
Bad place. Alright, well, we can't let them do horrible things to Anna in a bad place. Let's do our best to save this girl. Oh, yeah. Everyone tells me I should get one of those guns, but I never do. I don't know why, I just am not fond of the feel of a pump gun, like a pump action gun, an air rifle. Oh, this isn't creepy. What? What was that? Did you see that? Oh, it turns off my light. Oh, okay. And night vision doesn't work either. Oh, they're really going for the creep factor here. They can't turn off fire. Oh! Oh, did you see that? I love how these visions only appear in my periphery. You see that? So what, are they supposed to be old prisoners? Big gun? Big gun. My light's back at least. Okay, okay. Down we go, I guess. Let's go down. That sounds fine. Oh, in these games, you do things you would never do. I would never do this. A deep, creepy tunnel into whatever this is. A catacomb, a mine. Thought I was quick with my reflexes switching to my shotgun. Don't give me any credit. The game switched to my shotgun for me. I'm tapping it! I'm tapping E! Tap that E! What? Oh. Oh, man. Is this like an Eastern Orthodox? Whoa, that goes way down there. Okay. All right. Into the dark. Into the unknown. Oh, hey. Hey. We got this. Ooh, what happened here? What is this? Okay, can't linger. Something massive this way comes. It's a stampede. It's a stampede is what this is. So which way? I don't want to go the way they went, so we'll go this way. Oh, great. Is that cuneiform? No. Well, that is. Left, right, left, right, right. Shibbity crickets. Okay, that's Jesus. I can't light his. I can't light that. That's, I don't know what that is. Can I light that? Yep. Okay. And it's a dead end! Oh wait, no, it's a new way. Bats. Campfire. I like how my lighter never runs out of fuel. That's totally a lie. My lighter runs out of fuel all the time. Anything else over here? Nope. Okay. Well, Scotch break. How about that? Scotch break? Scotch break. When in doubt, shoot the monster in the butt. Okay, was I supposed to go that way or this way? I think I was supposed to go that way. Oh. I'm okay. I'm okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is fine. This is fine. Totally We're okay. What is that? What is that? Is that an automatic shotgun? Oh, look at it! It's an automatic shotgun! Oh, I will take it. I feel much safer. I'm not going to think about the fact that we did find this on a dead body, but I still feel much safer. Okay, we're done exploring now. Let's go to the door. Let's go to the door. And what's this? Some sort of... I know something's going to sneak up from underneath that. I just know it. A head or a hand is going to pop out from underneath it. I just know it. Okay, I was wrong. Why am I doing this all for a girl who ditched me? Someone's down there. Alley-oop! Ooh, crash. Right. I've got my automatic shotgun and I'm feeling good. Can I climb this? Nope. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. I'm going to go through my ammunition so quickly, it's not even right. Oh, no. What are you doing, you little frog? I had 100. I've got 60. I've got 60 rounds left. Shells. I've got 60 shells left. I gotta conserve this ammunition. I'm not gonna get out of here alive. It's happened to me before. In the last game, I ran out of ammunition at a part. I had to reload a previous save. Just exploring. Gotta find out. What's that? Yes. Yes, they know it. They know. They're giving me shotgun shells because they know. Oh, man. Oh, what is this? Oh, that's where I gotta go, huh? All right. For those of you who have played this game, I know I'm infuriating you, but... That's another 4... Ooh, 5... well, I've got this thing now, and I don't want to get rid of my awesome, beautiful automatic shotgun. Okay, here we go. Oxhorn, you're going to face a huge horde soon. Thank you. Back to the wall. There's no way for them to get around me here. So let's leave this nice place and go deeper in. Okay. Gotta jump down. Gotta jump down. That was a mistake. I keep on right-clicking to aim without remembering that that's the automatic feature of this thing. All that ammunition I'm wasting. Wasting! What? Oh. What is this? Shader. Alright, let's try this again. Thankfully, my checkpoint was right here, right? Oh man! Don't know how I'm gonna do this. Okay. Gonna run around. Gotta run around. Oh, Jiminy Crickets. Okay. Well, now what? If this has been here for centuries, how has this wood not rotted? Who built this? Byzantine monks? What in Where did it go? Oh, where did it go? Where did it go? Oh no. Did I just waste all my shotgun ammunition and I did not kill it? Well, one must not argue about reality. Oh, thank you. That's like reading my mind. Oh, still, I only have 9 rounds, 11 rounds left. Oh! Good! Not good! Not good! Not good! Oh! Oh! What? No! Okay, okay, we're all right. We're all right.
All the roads lead to Oktyabrskyya. The Dark One is there. Anna is there now too. In the hands of my enemies. The hands of the traitor. Lesnitsky.
If my enemies went this way, why did they not have to go through all of that I just went through? Does that not strike anyone as unfair? They should have cleared it for me, you know? Made things easier. Not a bit of ammunition to be had. 10 shells left. At least I've got my sniper rifle thing. Well, sniper revolver. I used a lot of health medikits thing. I don't know why I still have a full stack. Okay.
So, who is this girl again?
A hostage. We'll use her for negotiating with the Order. Just make sure she wears a gas mask. If she's infected, she's dead. And of no use to us.
Oh, sweetie, don't stand in front of that.
So, what do we do with her?
Because it's super hot.
Lock her up and keep an eye on her. Anything happens, it's your head.
Up.
I'll come get her when we're done here.
Oh, baby girl.
Go watch Trolls music.
Want to listen to Trolls music?
Yes, on a cord.
Well, that's not very exciting. I don't have Trolls music on there. That's monster music, see?
The music?
Yeah, I'm fighting monsters.
Okay.
Like, I can't fight monsters with you on my lap.
Yes.
I can try. Okay, let's try.
I hear it.
You hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Oh. You see those icky rats?
Yes.
Okay.
What are you doing? Please! You don't have to kill us!
Probably shouldn't look at that.
We're under
I'm gonna look that way.
leadership of the Red Line
That's an
to
air
stop the
vent.
epidemic.
That's
You're
what we
all
call a
infected.
ventilation draft thing.
You heard the man. We must kill you to save the metro.
I think they're gonna execute those people.
But we're not even
All right, let's go this way. Can we go this way? No.
Fire!
Did you hear the fireworks?
Yes.
Yep, the
Can't you
fireworks.
hit anything? Even at the point blank range.
Okay, well,
Unbelievable.
we missed that, thankfully. Let's crawl through this hole and see if we can find. Oh, what? Okay, let's try this. All right, here we go. Hold on. Forward, and then turning left. Oh, those sleeping people. Look at all those sleeping people.
Yes.
They're tired, super tired. All right. Well, okay. Good spot to call to end the broadcast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings. I've got daddy duties right now, so I'm going to go take this little girl upstairs and put her to bed. So thank you for coming to the broadcast. Tune in next week, same Ox time, same Ox channel, for episode 423 of Scotch and Smoke Rings. Sound good?
Well, nothing
Yes.
to be done about it right now. Put some disinfectant on it when we get
Good,
back.
I'll tell you about now. Bye, everybody.
Get going.